Alright, so my last video, I didn't really show a good, I guess, step-by-step on how to set up the E46 control arms for the E36. So I'm just kind of making its own video for, I guess, anyone, just searching on the topic on, what all needs to be done, just things like that. So I just have, both the arms on the table, and I'm just gonna, I guess, kind of pull out the tape again, just kind of show the differences, and I guess why it's a good thing to do. Alright, so on the stock arms, pretty much center of ball joint to center of ball joint, you're looking at roughly maybe 13 and a half, 13 and a quarter, depending on how you're looking at it. And for the E46, you're looking at roughly, 14 and a quarter, 14 and a half. So it's an extra inch to give you just more camber for pretty cheap. So that's why people kind of go with this. The only thing you have to pay attention to is where the lower, I guess the rear bushing mounts. So in this arm, it's kind of, 11 and a quarter from, I guess, where the face of the bushing sits and the center line of the ball joint. And so if we line up, 11 and a quarter, roughly here, we're not, building a fucking rocket ship. You're gonna have to, come back some on this hex. So the hex only goes so far, so you have to account for that by kind of grinding it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of mark it at about 11 and a quarter to know where I have to grind to. Alright, so pretty much got it marked off 11 and a quarter from the center of the ball joint. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back from the tip with that diameter that I need. It's about 21 millimeters. And this thing's, much larger than that, the hex. So I'll just kind of polish down the corners and just, keep going. Pretty much all I'm using is just regular, shit angle grinder with a flap disc on it. It's aluminum, so it'll move quick. Set calipers, just check my measurements. And I'm going to use a file to kind of finish it off, especially around the shoulder area of that I guess, fit, just to make it, sit square. That way I don't want it kind of tapering before it sits into the bushing. And pretty much here's the bushing. So this is what that fit's going to sit into. It's perfectly round, and the arms are hex. So pretty much just going to check everything with that. With the way it sits in the car itself, the back of the arm's going to sit up against this. I mean, this is a square opening. So that's why I'm using the file, just to kind of make sure that the back end of that's kind of square, where it's not going to have any kind of radius or anything. So what I'm doing is kind of just moving just in and out, coming up to my line with the flapper disc and just trying to smooth it out and make it, pretty much a round fit. I just keep going back and forth, making it smooth, and what I'll do is I'll keep double checking the diameters to make sure I'm not going below 20 millimeters here. What I'm doing is also tapering off the tip, just to kind of make it easier to push the bushing in. You don't want it to be like a square square inch shaft that you're sliding on. Alright, so I'm going to try to do this with two hands, one holding the camera, one holding the calipers. But let's see if I can get it and read it. It's about, no larger than 21. So yeah, so pretty much, it's just moving back and forth in pretty much like this motion. Just moving in, out, left, right, not trying to focus on one area too much. Tapering the tip to make sure it's easier to get on. But as you can kind of see here, it leaves like a small radius on the end, just because of the flap disc. So that's pretty much why you kind of just take the file and kind of just sharpen up those tips. So just moving it back and forth. Can't do it on the camera. Back and forth, in and out. just to kind of sharpen up those tips. So I'm going to put the camera down and kind of show you just moving back. Okay, so I spent maybe a total of 2 minutes with the file, and you can kind of see how I have a, pretty much a good shoulder on that edge. But just going back and forth with the edge of the file, just kind of making sure you're taking out that little radius that's left with the flap wheel. Alright, so push the bushing on. I left a little gap just because it's after doing the first arm, it's a little bit easier if you have a little gap as opposed to being too far forward, because what you can do is you can kind of snug in the bolts back here, and then when you're pushing in the I guess that inner ball joint, you can kind of push itself back in here a little bit. Just from what I've from the previous one, it just made it easier if I had it a little further back, because I did have it too far forward. So I did a back and forth once, and I was like, no, I'm gonna push it too far back, and it went actually a lot easier. So this time I'm just gonna keep it further back when I put it in. All right. Let's see if we can get this in there. She's in. Simple as that. Alright, so I just want to make that quick video, kind of explain, how to install the E46 arms and the E36 with just good, I guess, close-up shots and explanations. Like I said, I just used the angle grinder with a flat disc and just a little shit file, just kind of take away the radius edges. But yeah, I mean, it really wasn't that difficult. I think it was harder just to get the lollipop bushing little pilot fit in the back in. That was really the hardest thing. So yeah, just let me know if that was helpful. Maybe if y'all want more, I guess, explanation, things like this, or just watching me, fuck up things and laugh and drink beers the whole time, that too, I could do whatever. If you want to see what's what, just let me know in the comments. What do you think? You think it was good? Think it was bad? Thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe maybe if you like it and want more like it, maybe. Let me know. Bye.